Well, thanks to everybody in the panel for coming to great distance to be here with us, especially Mr. Furze. Not only did you get out of the snow, but good luck to you on getting back. It might even be harder. And thanks to you, Madam Chair, for holding this hearing on an important topic. I know many people in my district have benefited from the work in the weatherization program, and in a northern climate that's important for people that can't afford to do this themselves, and we realize a lot of benefits. And one of the things that I've learned is that you can't make a decision without impacting other things that you want to accomplish as well. So I have a question that relates to some decisions that are being made back in the state of Washington for Mr. Furze. For many of you that are, well, now nobody else in this room besides us maybe is from the state of Washington. You may be aware that our governor, your boss, recently released a massive $1.1 billion plan for the endangered southern resident orca. The whales that are struggling in Puget Sound. And for those of you that know, that can do the math, that would be about $14.8 million for each of the remaining 74 whales. Part of that, though, and that's what I want to talk to you about, that part of that $1.1 billion is included $750,000 for a task force to analyze tearing down 4 lower Snake River hydroelectric dams, which are in my district. They provide clean, emission-free, inexpensive, reliable base load for families all over my district in Central Washington, but all over the Pacific Northwest. Now, we work together on a lot of different things, my colleagues here in Washington and our colleagues in the state of Washington. However, as everyone knows, only Congress can authorize the breaching of a federal dam. No governor can do that, has the power to tear down a federal project, let alone 4 of them. So with that in mind, and sorry it takes a little background here, but Mr. Furze, as the governor's assistant director for energy, my question in looking at everything we've heard today with the conversation regarding the weather assistance program, which is intended to help low-income families reduce their energy bills, and improve their health and all of those things. I'm curious as to your thoughts as to whether or not that $750,000 could be perhaps put to better use to help people in the state of Washington, the elderly, the disabled, our tribal friends, the low-income communities with their energy bills and all of the other issues. I'm told that those folks spend approximately 16% of their income on energy costs, compared with only 3.5% to 4% that other folks spend. So I guess my question is, what kind of impact could we see with an additional $750,000 for this program that, as you talk about, it's underfunded and certainly not meeting the needs of nearly 40% of low-income families in our state?
Thank you for that question, Representative Newhouse. Unfortunately, I can't speak to the details of the ORCA package, and although I am aware of the element that you're referring to regarding the $750,000 to take a look at the Snake River dams, and I appreciate the perspective that you offered about the governor's authority relative to the authority of the federal government, so thanks for that. We're fortunate in the state of Washington to have the 4 funding sources that I mentioned, and one of the largest of those is the state, we call them energy matchmaker dollars, which is what allows us to do the Weatherization Plus Health program. The request in the governor's budget was for $25 million for those funds. And off the top of my head, I'll have to get back to you for the record for the amount of funding, the amount of homes that we'll be able to weatherize with that funding. And we could do a comparable comparison for the amount of funding that you mentioned. I think that it's really important that Washington supports the low energy prices that we've got. That's part of what we do through the grid transformation, and the other part of my role here as the assistant director for the energy division is to look at the grid transformation efforts that Representative Fleischman mentioned and figure out how we can combine that activity with the essential activity of the weatherization program to make sure that the most vulnerable receive the benefits that they need. So thank you.
I appreciate that answer. And Madam Chair, in the few seconds I have remaining, if I could, I'd like to submit 2 letters to the governor opposing this use of taxpayer dollars. They come from dozens of mayors, county officials, PUD commissioners, community leaders in the Tri-Cities, ports of Clarkston, also Lewiston, and the great state of Idaho, Mr. Simpson's area, that perhaps that these tax dollars could be put to better use, maybe even the weatherization program that benefits so many thousands of people and could benefit many, many more in our state. And thank you for your answers, and again, appreciate your being here, and good luck getting home.